Yes guys, and welcome to another video. Now, as you can tell by the title, the thumbnail, a lot is going on, and honestly, some things we're going to talk about and discuss in this video, I couldn't even fit them into the thumbnail, I couldn't even fit them into the title because there was just so much going on, which is stark contrast to just a few days ago when I was complaining about the drought of reports, rumours and everything, and now a lot has gone on over the last 24 hours, and it is still ongoing, it is still progressively ongoing, of course, as we rapidly approach the deadline for the January transfer window. So I don't really know where to start. Apologies if it does come across as rushed. I'm just trying to squeeze so much in such a short space of time. And if I did delve into everything in detail and depth, it'd be a 25-minute video. And I know you don't want that, and I don't either. But before we do get into it, as usual, hit the like button for me if you're excited. And of course, let me know your thoughts on anything we discuss in this video. And if you are new, you enjoy the content, there's so many of you guys still watching and you're not subscribed, you incredibly rude people. I am joking. If you do hit the subscribe button for me, it'd be massively, massively appreciated. Now, getting into it, where to start? We'll start off with some really good, exciting news, something I've been wanting to happen for ages now. The confirmation that we have signed Wilson Isidor on a permanent deal from Zenit, which of course is absolutely fantastic news. We did have a clause, we did have a trigger in his contract anyway, that at any point we could sign him permanently. And to be fair, I think it is a bargain. I believe that it's about €4 million, so about 3.3 odd million Great British pounds sterling. And for someone of his ability, he's 24 years of age, he's improved in the season as the season's gone on. He has been incredible. And like I say, 24 years of age, he's still got potential to improve. I love him. It genuinely seems like he's bought into the culture of Sunderland, what we believe in, the passion, he's bought into it. He has this brilliant connection with the fans, and it's all good, all well and good having one thing, saying, oh, he's bought into the culture, he's bought into this, but can he do it on the pitch? Yes, he can. If you think for £3.3 million, that's less than what we paid for Will Grigg. Do you know what I mean? Let's put it into context here, that what a deal that is. That's outstanding piece of business. And I think if we didn't have that trigger in the clause and we just simply had to make an offer, we'd probably be looking at nearly £10 million that we'd have to pay for him. So it's a brilliant bit of business. And for a player that is going to be here now till 2028, absolutely outstanding. He's been class. His pace off the ball, his running, his pressing, his goal scoring. He never lets his head get down. He missed those couple of penalties, didn't he, against Burnley, which was a crying shame. It was frustrating. He was clearly obliterated in terms of his morale, but the way he just quickly got his head up, he was going for it. He had a goal disallowed that he shouldn't have done in the following game from those penalty misses. Then he scored again last time out. So he is, for me, he's a fantastic striker. And again, 24 years of age. There's only space for him to improve. So I'm really, really buzzing with that. And with that, means that we've freed up a loan space. I don't know whether it's been done tactically by the club to bring in a loan. There has been rumours in terms of a loan for two separate players that I'm going to discuss now. So firstly, Jacques Clarke, right? This kind of goes hand in hand with another piece of sort of news. So firstly, I will say Jacques Clarke, that apparently from a source on Twitter, there's a guy on Twitter who I follow, who doesn't have loads of followers, but he has had quite a bit of success in the past in when he has discussed certain things, and I believe he does have a genuine source. But this doesn't mean Jacques Clarke's definitely coming back, by the way, but apparently there has been at least talks. There has been a round of talks about potentially bringing him back from Ipswich on a loan deal. Now, why would we do that? Because as you can see, there's another bloke on screen here, Tommy Watson. Now, Tommy Watson was subject to a lot of interest from Brighton in the summer. Apparently Brighton did offer $2 million in the summer, and we rejected that. Now at the time, I don't think $2 million was too bad of an offer because we hadn't seen what Watson could be. He just looked really raw. For me, he didn't look physically up to the task. So $2 million, I didn't think that would have been a bad deal at all, really. But then he has come on, hasn't he? And let's not beat around the bush. He's only played 10, 12 games for Sunderland in his Sunderland career. And don't get me wrong, he has played incredibly well in those games, and he's shown us a lot of potential. He's scored goals, and of course he's got injured, but let's not beat around the bush again. He has only played 10, 12 games, and they are offering 8, 9 million, and apparently we rejected an 8 million offer from Brighton, and I believe if it gets closer to 10 million, we would accept. Would I be happy with that? I think that would be a great deal, personally. Financially, it would, because like I said, he's only played 10, 12 games. Yes, he looks like he has potential. I think Mundell's a better player. or at least he's further ahead in terms of his potential and his progression. He is better than him. If you get a fully fit Mundle and a fully fit Watson, for me, Mundle starts ahead of him at this point in time. That's not to say in 2-3 years' time, Watson could end up going past where Clarke was, or be better than where Clarke was. But as of right now, a 10 million offer for me, I would accept for Watson. I'd snap the hand off for it. It's an excellent amount of money to coop for a player that's played 12 games for Sunderland. Do you know what I mean? That's my opinion. Do I want him to leave? No, of course I don't. But if this lad wants to leave after 10, 12 games and go to the Premier League, which is more than, he can do that. I understand why he would do that. Well within his rights. 10 million is a great offer for me if that does happen. Now, as I say, apparently an 8 million offer from Brighton has been rejected, and since then, apparently there is concrete interest from Aston Villa and Crystal Palace in Tommy Watson. For me, I think it's probably only a matter of time before he does go. If that's the case, his head might be turned. Will the grass be greener on the other side? You look at Jack Clarke. I understand why he went to Ipswich. I understand, why he wanted to go to the Premier League. It hasn't worked out for him, but yeah, if Watson wants to go, he wants to go. 10 million, I'd accept it. I would of course, I'd be upset that he's left, but like I said, I think we've got a player in Mundle that I think is further down the line and better at the moment than Watson. So for 10 million, I think that'd be a good deal. Now, like I said, there has been initial talks with Ipswich. I don't know whether that's ongoing or it's just been one sort of mode of contact that we've had a one chat, and then that was it, and then maybe we didn't come to any kind of deal. I'm not sure, but apparently there has been contact and there has been talks with Ipswich about a potential deal to bring Jack Clarke back on a short-term deal, and that would be the most sudden thing ever, wouldn't it? Selling the Jack Clarke regen in Tommy Watson and replacing him with Jack Clarke. That would be, if anything, I think it would be a great deal. However, there is a part of me that it is just purely the emotional side that is, no, I'm done and dusted with Jack Clarke. I don't actively hate the bloke, but he left us. End of story. He chose to go. He's gone for the money. He's gone for the Premier League, which again, well within his right to do. But do I want him to come back just because he's done shit there? Ipswich, the baby don't play to his strengths, and he hasn't done great there either. He looks upset, he looks dishevelled, he don't look happy, which, again, I don't thrive and I don't enjoy seeing, but you've made your bed. I've moved on from Jack Clarke. However, you can't deny that Jack Clarke is an incredibly good footballer at a championship level, and to come back to a team that he knows well, it would make sense, and it'd be an outstanding move. Apparently Watson, apparently we have had contract talks with him, and he's refused it until he has given guarantees that it's going to start ahead of Mundle, which for me, I don't like that anyway. You can't be guaranteed a place. That isn't the way it works, and that's apparently what his qualms are, and he's only got 18 months left on his contract. So, like I said, anyway, I'm repeating myself here. 10 million for Watson, I think would be an outstanding piece of business for me. Again, in terms of loans, we have been linked with Jayden Danns of Liverpool. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know loads about him. I don't. He's very, very highly thought of at Liverpool. They've given him a couple of games here and there, Premier League, and I think maybe in a Champions League appearance somewhere as well, and he did look pretty decent, but very, very little experience, inexperienced striker. I think that might be a route we'd go down. It wouldn't surprise me, but again, I know very, very little about him. It'd be a very raw signing and someone else to play or give competition to. Wilson Isidor, my ender up top and stuff like that as well. Isn't quite as exciting as the likes of Chuba Akpom, who we were previously linked with, but it'd be a very Sunderland signing, that wouldn't it? It'd definitely be in the process of things that other kind of players we've been going for in recent times in terms of young, energetic, raw strikers, young players in general. The Marcus Edward deal, which we discussed in the previous video. Marcus Edwards, of course, it seemed like it was a battle between Burnley and Sunderland, and it looks like he's going to choose Burnley, unfortunately for us. I did totally forget that he did have a previous connection. He has a previous relationship with Scott Parker, and apparently that is kind of what's leading it at the moment. So it looks like Edwards is on his way to Burnley, which is a massive shame and a huge coup for Burnley. If that does go through anyway, not totally confirmed yet, but it does look like it's going to be heading that way. Now, one last thing. I probably missed something here because there has been absolutely frigging loads, as I said. Mike Dodds, of course, one of our coaches. It looks like he is on the brink of becoming Wycombe's head coach. Now, I know that some fans, I've seen the comments every now and then, that there's some conspiracy theorists that, every time Sunderland have like a bad draw or they lose, they're in the comments straight away saying, this is just Mike Dodds, this is a Mike Dodds team, he's the one who's really running the team, he's the one who's really running the show, and Regis Labrie is just basically a puppet to it type thing, and it's just, I think it's ridiculous. Every time we win, you can't say Rodgers is the best manager or the best coach in the world, and then we lose. It's Dodds' fault. It's just somewhere to push the blame. It's just blame pushing on other people, and I think it's mental. Whenever we lose, or like I said, it's a bad draw or something. People are saying, "Oh, I saw the highlights, and when the camera went to the dugout, you could see Mike Dodds talking to Rodgers Labrie, and at one point, you saw Mike Dodds shouting from the sideline." Right? And what's your point? Do you know what I mean? And I get it. Some people still have a really bad taste in their mouth from Mike Dodds from last season, and I agree with that. He did absolutely shite. However, I also believe to a degree that he was thrown under the bus what was already a really bad situation. And I don't mind Mike Dodds. He's just not a first-team coach, in my opinion. I'd wish him all the best, but does he have value as a coach, in my opinion? Yes, and I think this would be a much, much bigger blow than people would think, because he is incredibly well-liked throughout the Sunderland squad. He is sort of a gel there that you probably don't realise how much and how well he is liked, and a lot of it is down to him, the sort of morale and the camaraderie of the group. He is sort of at the head of that. So to get rid of him, it will be a huge blow. And at this stage in the season, to have a big change in the coaching staff, I know he's not a head coach, but in the coaching staff in general, who he has relationships with everyone, and good ones in large, it would be a huge blow, in my opinion. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be the head coach of Wycombe. Those are the massive reports and updates that are going around at the moment. I'd wish him all the best, but I do think it'd be a bigger blow than people might realise. But yeah, that is everything. Again, apologies that it has been a bit of a ramble, and I'm trying to squeeze it in, because again, if I touched everything and went in depth in my thoughts for everything, I would be here all day, because there's a lot going on and it is ongoing. So you might get more videos later on in the week, or at least Tuesday. I'm working tomorrow, sadly. I know we're playing Borough tomorrow. I know we haven't done a preview to the game, but we don't have the time, guys. We don't have the time of day at this point. Of course, we need to win. The closer we get to this Borough game, the more it feels like a must-win game. I think we're still, of course, games were played yesterday. We're still 3 points behind Burnley. We're in third at the moment. We're 6 points behind Sheffield United, who are in second, but of course we have that game in hand. There's still plenty of games to be played. There's loads of games to be played. However, those, the teams like Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley ahead of us, they are going to continue to pick up points, and we need to keep on winning games if we want to claw ourselves back into the top two and really put pressure on those above us. For me, bare minimum at the minute, I think we've almost all but secured the playoffs. It would take an absolute downfall of a lifetime to somehow fall out of the playoffs at this moment in time. But if we're serious and we want to go for that top two, we need to stop picking up points and winning games that are put in front of us, first and foremost. Of course, it's not going to be easy. Borough, good side, but 3 points is a must for me, and it'd be an absolutely massive win as well, of course, given the game that it is. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Anyway, guys, hit the like button for me. It's always massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new. But for now, take care, stay jammy. Away the lads!